This is the tweet that made everybody go crazy. What turned Kanye onto hyper-social justice warrior turned conservative Candace Owens? I'm told it was actually this video that Kanye watched that got him onto Candace.
What you're seeing happening today, obviously we have some black people that are just shouting in the back. We have some black people that are sitting in the front quietly that are chanting USA and having a normal conversation. I love that because what I say every single time, and you may have seen me on the news, is that what is happening right now in the black community, you're going to hear it in this room first. There's an ideological civil war happening. Black people that are focused on their past and shouting about slavery, and black people that are focused on their futures, okay? That's really what it comes down to, okay? I can guarantee you what you're seeing happening is victim mentality versus victor mentality. And
That's
I promise
great,
you,
by the way.
the people here are going to win.
I love that.
And there's no doubt in my mind. I can tell you right now who is going to be better off. When we look 20 years and we look at the faces in this room, who is going to be better off are the girls that are sitting right here and across this room because they don't have your mentality. Victim mentality is not cool. I don't know why people like being oppressed. It's the weirdest thing I've ever heard. I love oppression. We're oppressed. 400 years of slavery, Jim Crow, which, by the way, none of you guys lived through. Your grandparents did, and it's embarrassing that you utilize their history. You utilize their history, and you come in here with more emotion than they ever had when they were living through it. More emotion than they ever had when they were living through it. It's embarrassing. You're not living through anything right now. You're overly privileged Americans.
Now, Candace is an interesting character. A few years ago, she was responsible for trying to put together a company, an online resource, if you will, for people to essentially get doxxed for making mean comments online. It was a poorly thought out place and idea that was meant to shame people for bullying or hateful comments. It would show where they worked, what type of comments they made, and where to find them essentially. Obviously, that would get out of hand pretty quickly and be used wrongly, so it got squashed. Then it seems Candace had a change of heart and her views pretty much completely changed. She had to defend herself a couple years later when people claimed that the site was still active and still taking in people's personal information. I believed it for a bit, but I looked into it and it kind of seemed like they were just trying to bring her down for this. They were claiming the site was still active, but it was really just the domain that was still up. It was at that point I realized I didn't really want to become part of the YouTube social drama where people try to debunk each other's videos and just sort of focus on getting my own stuff out there. The next day, Kanye started tweeting out video clips of the Dilbert creator Scott Adams, who's a pretty hardline Trump supporter. He was essentially talking about how Kanye's tweets are changing history and the social dynamic, trying to bring people together, and it's some pretty philosophical and metaphysical stuff. If anything, it was just pretty interesting. At that point, the media quickly jumped on Kanye West to say he loves the far right and he loves the alt-right. Which of their views are exactly far right? I'm not exactly sure. In fact, I don't think any of their views are far right or the dreaded alt-right at all. Even more pathetic, and yes, I do mean pathetic. Other articles about Kanye loving and being the darling of the alt-right started to pop up. This just further depicts the ridiculousness and the viciousness of the media and attacking other points of view that is pretty much what Kanye is trying to point out here. Interestingly enough, even Jordan Peterson and Kanye started tweeting almost at the exact same time a bunch of stuff about dragons. What I'm getting from all this though is that Kanye just wants people to be able to think freely and openly express their opinions and ideas without being demonized for no reason at all. Which is exactly the reason that I think it's hilarious that they're immediately demonizing him just for sharing somebody else's point of view. People are enraged just by the fact that Kanye is tweeting about these people. The one that particularly stands out to me is the one that talks about having your own ideas. I mean, I don't call myself a Republican or a conservative, but I just go where the good ideas are. And people should be able to freely express their opinion or use their freedom of speech without being demonized and labeled as all sorts of crazy things. This guy's an alt-right, far-right bigot, alt-right. There have been a few times over the last couple of years where people have been surprised at what I was willing to say in front of a group of people or in public. Just things that I think that are honest and factual and shouldn't be offensive at all. A lot of people are afraid to say these things, and my response to them, and will continue to be, that we don't have to pretend anymore. If you don't care about the philosophy of this, or don't think this is a monumental or even a big moment at all in culture, then that's fine. But at the very least, you have to think it's funny to think about how many people are losing their mind over tweets like this, and photos like this, and the fact that Kanye and President Trump are now tweeting back and forth at each other. This is Andrew Says, and I wouldn't lie to you. Except for maybe